What kind of a mount are you looking for? A backyard pet your children can grow up with? Or a reliable trail animal to help you enjoy the high country? Do you love a reining spin or the intricate moves of the dressage arena? Do you long to be flying high on a jump course? Or does driving a Surrey with the fringe on top sound like your cup of tea? Whatever kind of equine companion you're looking for, you'll want one that will perform in a safe, obedient manner. The purpose of these programs is to help you understand mules and donkeys and learn how to handle and train them correctly. Now, we know that not everyone watching owns a mule. Some of you own horses. Well, there's something here for you too. You'll notice that these are simple, easy-to-follow lessons. They're designed to teach you a variety of correct training methods for horses as well as for mules and donkeys. The result? Whether his ears are long or short, you'll have a well-mannered, well-trained animal. This program features segments from an award-winning video series created for the equine industry by acclaimed trainer and educator Meredith Hodges. Because of this, you'll hear occasional references to the videos and also to the workbooks and field cards that are included with the video series. The field cards that come with the videos are a great training tool that can be taken right into the arena. We'll be sure to give you information on the complete training series later in the program. Now let's learn a little about Meredith Hodges and why so many people rely on her as their training consultant.
Since 1973, Meredith Hodges has been dedicated to the positive promotion of mules and donkeys. At the Lucky 3 Ranch in Loveland, Colorado, she began breeding a line of mules of exceptional quality and athletic ability. In 1984, Lucky 3 Sundowner became the world champion reining mule at Bishop Mule Days in California. And in 1986, Meredith introduced mules successfully to the world of dressage and show jumping. She's been a resource for college textbooks and has been named as an authority on mules in numerous books published in the U.S. and foreign countries. Her monthly column, Mule Crossings, has been carried by Mules and More magazine, The Brayer, and equine publications worldwide since 1982. And she's had articles in magazines like Western Horseman, Sports Illustrated, The Western Mule, Equus, Horseplay, and Stable Kids. The purpose of Meredith's video series is to help you understand mules and donkeys and learn how to handle and train them correctly.
Mules are wonderful animals. They're strong, intelligent, affectionate, with a great sense of humor, and what incredible athletes. But training a mule is different than training a horse. When you're training a mule, you have to take into consideration the donkey half as well as the horse half.
Jumping can be safe and fun if you take the right kinds of precautions and aptly prepare your equine for this activity. Today, we'll cover a wide variety of information about rider positions, types of jumps, gymnastic exercises, and coursework for home and at the show.
Each week our program covers a different phase of management and training. No matter what kind of equine companion you're interested in, you'll find techniques that will help you reach your training goals and bond with your animal in the process. Just remember, the keys to success are patience, kindness, and understanding.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges. In today's program, we'll be demonstrating techniques for learning to jump. But you should realize this program can't possibly show you everything there is to know about training your mule to jump. It would be wise to consult other sources and possibly even a professional trainer. If you'd like more details about what's being shown here, we'll provide information at the end of the show on how to order the books and videotapes that accompany this series. Let's get started.
In this tape, Meredith will focus on training your animal to jump. You'll be using this tape as a starting point. It will show what you can do and how it's done. However, before we begin, you need to understand something very important. There's much more to jumping than meets the eye. Timing and control are important, and both mule and rider must exhibit a great deal of skill and confidence. Jumping is a potentially dangerous activity, no matter how experienced you may be. You must train your mule to jump safely and in control. The lessons in this tape will help you to do this, but plan on getting some coaching from an expert. Look at those lessons as an investment in your safety and success. While this video features simple, easy-to-follow lessons designed to teach you correct training methods, use it as a supplement to a teacher or coach.
We've covered the basics of jumping in other programs. In today's program, we'll cover the more advanced aspects of jumping. But first, let's review the fundamentals. As we keep emphasizing, jumping is a potentially dangerous activity. Safety should never be taken for granted, and you must be constantly aware of potentially dangerous situations. Danger also lies in using unsafe equipment. Your saddle and tack are especially important for your comfort and safety. Check all the tack for soundness and good repair. Don't use worn-out equipment. The condition of reins, girths, and stirrup leathers is especially important. It goes without saying that you always check your girth, straps, and stirrup leathers every time you mount. Even equipment in good condition can be dangerous if it does not fit you and your mule. That means your saddle should fit your seat correctly, and the tree should fit your mule's back. The fenders should be long enough to protect your leg from pinching, and your stirrup iron should be 1/2 to 3/4 inches wider than the width of your boot at the ball of your foot. You can also buy stirrups with a breakaway side. Your stirrups should be shorter than for English flat classes, shorter for stadium jumping, and shorter still for cross-country jumping. Adjust the leathers so your heel can be lower than your toe in the 2-point position. Leave the safety release bars on your saddle open to ensure that in an emergency the leathers will pull free. Lastly, always use a crupper with your saddle to make sure it stays in the correct position on your mule's back. As far as bridles are concerned, if you've trained in a snaffle, you might be able to safely use that same bit for jumping. However, you may want to assure more control with a stronger bit such as a Kimberwick. And by all means, use an English headstall. You don't want your bridle to come off by accident. There is even a wide variety of non-slip reins created specially for jumping, so try several styles to see which you prefer. One of my favorite expressions is never go to war without your gun, which means always be prepared to wear blunt spurs and carry a crop during training and especially in competition. Even a steady mule might need a little extra incentive to take a particular jump. Check, of course, to make sure a crop is allowed for your class. It's especially important that the rider and the mule are protected both in training and in competition. A regulation helmet is a must since other hard hats can come off in a fall. You are seeing more and more riders wearing protective vests as well, especially for combined training and fox hunting. Make sure you wear high boots, boots and half shaps, or full shaps to protect your legs in case of a fall. Incidentally, half shaps protect those expensive boots when you're not competing. Good equitation is absolutely essential in jumping. It takes weeks to build a mule's confidence in his rider's hands, but it only will take 1 day to wipe it out. A good mule might shy away from a jump because he knows he'll get a painful jerk from his unbalanced rider. And an unbalanced rider can throw his mule off balance, causing a wreck or a fall. It helps to use a neck strap for balance when you first begin, to help you keep your balance, especially during gymnastics and over higher jumps. Your mule must also have the right equipment to protect his legs, since bumping a rail can be painful and dangerous. There are 3 basic body positions you must master for jumping. The full seat position is used when you first start warming up and on the flat, during some warm-ups, and any time you need to make a major correction in his balance. The 2-point position is a position used to relieve stress on your animal's back and allow him to gallop freely between jumps. The 3-point position is assumed just before, over, and after the jump. It's also used when you want to make minor corrections in your mule's performance. When teaching your mule to jump, we use a combination of ground poles, cavalettis, and stadium jumps. A cavaletti is a 10 to 12-foot rail attached to a low X stand. This is a bit wider than a cavaletti for a horse, since mules are very good at ducking out on a 6 to 9-foot rail. The cavaletti can be adjusted to 3 different heights depending on how the X is turned. When the X is on the bottom, the rail is only about 6 inches high, and it's actually called a ground rail. When it's turned so the rail is on the side, it's about 12 inches high. And when it's turned so the rail is on top, it's about 20 inches high. Stadium jumps are just another term for different combinations of standards, rails, and movable elements such as cups, gates, and flower boxes. An oxer is a jump with 2 or more elements with a slope and a spread. When your mule takes an oxer, he will be jumping up and forward. A vertical is a jump that's constructed straight up and down with no spread. These jumps all have one thing in common. They are adjustable and are not stationary. They can come in many forms, like doubles and triples, and might even appear to be solid. When you get on a cross-country course, you will encounter variations of verticals and oxers. Frequently, these jumps will be permanent and made of natural materials such as logs or brush. But even these solid jumps are constructed so that an animal can quickly be freed if they become stuck. Jumps on the course are flagged according to your level of training. You may also see a variety of permanent bank jumps on a cross-country course, such as drops, ditches, and water. These are truly a test of courage for both you and your mule. It's not necessary to spend a lot of money buying jumps. Barrels, tires, hay bales, and natural materials work great. Just make sure your homemade jumps are safe and not built of anything that would be dangerous to you or your mule.
Colorful Colorado, with its majestic Rocky Mountains and wide open spaces, also boasts the Loveland Long Years Museum and Sculpture Park at the Lucky 3 Ranch, home of some of the finest mules and donkeys in the world. This working ranch is just 40 miles north of Denver. World-renowned authority on mules and donkeys, Meredith Hodges, invites you and your family for an adventure in learning you won't want to miss. Come visit the Lucky 3 Ranch, meet Meredith, her champion mules and donkeys, and take in the beauty of her long years art for the experience of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. Jumping is one sport where, in order to be successful, both equine and rider must exhibit a lot of confidence. Jumping is a potentially dangerous activity, and a good coach is essential in making sure the rider is well trained and experienced. A regulation helmet is a must, and more riders are wearing protective vests as well. Make sure you purchase a regulation helmet because other types of helmets can come off on impact. It is especially important that your equine have the right equipment to protect his legs. Bumping a rail can be painful for him and dangerous for both of you. Make sure that both you and your equine are adequately protected during both training and competition. Good equitation is absolutely essential when jumping. It takes weeks to build an equine's confidence in his rider's hands. It takes only one day to wipe it out. A good equine may shy away from a jump if he knows he'll get a painful jerk from his unbalanced rider. An unbalanced rider can throw the animal off balance, causing a wreck or a fall. When you first start jumping, use a neck strap to help you keep your balance. Again, make sure you've got a great coach to keep you on track. The first thing to master in preparation for jumping is your body position. The full seat position is the position in which all of your aids are most effective. It is used during warm-up for jumping and any time you need to make a correction in your animal's balance. The 3-point position is used before, over, and after the jump. The 2-point position is used between jumps to relieve stress on your animal's back and allow him to gallop freely. To maintain your balanced position and driving legs, do not lean forward. Always keep your eyes up and your heels down. When the animal takes the jump, his front quarters will rise towards your chest and create the illusion of you leaning forward. Keep contact on your reins and allow your hands to slip down on either side of your equine's shoulders to maintain contact, control, and to help support your equine's posture over the jump. Maintain a balanced seat throughout and look where you are going, not at the jump. Train with ground poles on both sides of the jump. Even when you're trotting, always canter away from that last ground pole in order to encourage impulsion and enthusiasm. If your equine is too enthusiastic and wants to run off, ask him to stop and back after the last ground pole. It won't take long before he understands that you are still in control and he'd better pay attention.
Here's an engineer. How did you know that? So we go see a huge mule. Because this thing, too fine. Just look ahead. That's all you gotta do. Okay, come on, boys. Let's go. Come on.
Every owner knows that a well taken care of equine is a happy equine. More and more, a technique being used to enhance our animals' overall conditioning is equine massage.
What you have to realize is you're training an animal in their muscle tissue, and their muscle tissue has to be able to perform the task that you're asking the animal to perform. If you're having a hard time doing the advanced things, you need to go back to the beginning. The massage helps break the pattern of the neurons that fire to that muscle, that tell it to contract, to contract, to contract.
With proper instruction, just about anyone can learn to give their equine the benefit of basic massage.
I've been working on equines for a long time, and a lot of people look at you and hope that you can just come out and make an animal better. And you can't do that. It takes two pieces, the massage as well as the exercise. And the exercise is actually more important than the massage. And that's something that people really have to understand. And Meredith's tapes do that. And a lot of people don't want to take that long a time frame. They just want to do their 60 days, get on the animal and ride them. But that's not really where you can go with their backs.
For more intensive therapeutic massage, be sure to consult a professional. Equine massage not only enhances your animal's health and overall condition, it's also a deeply personal and rewarding bonding experience for both of you.
Many of you who love your horses also love your dogs. This type of massage can be beneficial for all your pets. If you want to improve your animal's quality of life, I can help. I can either teach you how to do it, or I can massage your dogs for you. Contact me at dogmassage.com.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. A tool you can use to help your equine learn to judge distance and regulate his stride is the canter pole. This exercise also teaches you to judge and adjust the length of your equine's stride. This enables you to be able to comfortably and correctly negotiate a jump course. Gallop the canter pole first in full seat position, counting out loud, 1, 2, 3, pole. Now gallop over the pole in a 2-point position. Finally, ride the gallop in a 2-point position until you are 3 strides out. Then change to the 3-point position over the pole and back to the 2-point position as you canter away. Soon you will know when you are 3 strides out from a jump. You will then know exactly when to take the 3-point position and prepare your equine to jump. Do these exercises until both you and your equine are steady over the pole.
Artwork inspired by mules and donkeys is quickly gaining popularity. Tennessee mule artist Bonnie Shields has the uncanny ability to capture the fun-loving nature of these free-spirited animals.
They were like a horse, but they weren't like a horse. They had a little different body. They used their body a different way. They certainly had a different mental attitude. So they started intriguing me as an artist, and I kept finding the differences between them and the horse, both physically and in their reaction to things. So that started my love affair with the mule. When you deal with the mule, you're not always in charge. So it takes a little bit of a different kind of personality to appreciate the mule and to work with her.
She was the only artist that could really capture the essence of mules and donkeys. The mules and donkeys are really good teachers and teachers of life lessons. And Bonnie has just been an inspiration to me ever since. Wow, how'd it do?
Whoa. I know that all through the years, Meredith gives tours to the ranch. But what a wonderful addition to this whole ranch would be a sculpture park just for the mules and the donkeys. So I just thought it was an awesome idea. And then she let me be part of it. It's a wonderful thing. And when you come to visit the Lucky Three, it's just an added bonus. Mule people, you reckon I can get Meredith to make a tape on how to teach your mule to shovel snow? I sure gonna try. Wish me luck.
Just a wonderful human being, and working with her is always humorous. She is just funny as the day is long, and so I thought that she would be absolutely perfect as the illustrator for the Jasper series that I wanted to do.
The Daydreamers was inspired by a thing that I saw years ago. I heard about this family up in Kentucky. They'd been working tobacco out in the field with their mules. And one of the boys, he was laying across this mule's back, laying in the shade. They'd been working, and he was resting on the back of his mule in the shade. That just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, gee, a kid like that, you know, he thinks he's stuck on the farm. He thinks he's stuck doing all this terrible old work, and he's laying up there and he's daydreaming about getting away from it all. So that's where Daydreamer came from. Sculpture's not the only thing I do. Matter of fact, I got into sculpture maybe a little later in my career. Mostly, I was known for my pencil drawings and my acrylic paintings for many, many years.
Long ears art. It may be whimsical, like a cartoon, or it may simply be breathtaking. Long ears are taking their place in the world of art, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Remember, the exercises we're about to show are for advanced riders. If you haven't had much experience in jumping, you'll have to master the basics before going on. Gymnastics is like aerobics for your mule. It builds muscle, endurance, and wind. Gymnastics means schooling your mule and you with the aid of Cavalletian fences. It's the equivalent to human aerobic exercises. You'll be adding about 20 minutes of gymnastics after your 15 minutes of warm-up exercises. Gymnastics should not be done more than twice a week. Make sure you take a short break after every 3 passes through the line. In this tape, you'll see several kinds of gymnastic exercises. The first is ascending, where you will go from ground rail to cross rail to vertical to oxer. The standard rule of thumb for distances is to allow 3 feet for takeoff and 3 feet for landing over each jump. When approaching the gymnastics at a trot, allow a 9 to 10 foot increment. From the ground rail to the cross rail, the distance should be 9 feet, or what is called a bounce, with no stride between. From the vertical to the oxer should be about 1 stride with 18 feet between. A 2-stride distance would be at about 30 feet. Your mule's stride will open up as he begins to canter through the jumps. When approaching gymnastics at the canter, open the distance to 11 to 12 foot increments. The jumps go from lowest to highest with a bounce of 9 feet from ground rail to cross rail, 1 stride from the vertical to the oxer, with the ground rail placed midway to keep your mule's body elevated. You can add a ground pole at 9 or 10 feet after the oxer to help keep your mule elevated after the jump. The second kind is bidirectional, where you will go from ground rail to cross rail to oxer to cross rail to ground rail. This way you can take the series from either direction. The rules of spacing are the same. Always begin with the jump rails on the ground as if they were ground poles. Then add the first jump, low. Then the second jump, also low. You can add up to 5. When he takes them all in a line, you can increase the height of the first jump and ride through. Then increase the height of the second jump, and so forth. A third variety might be from ground rail to cross rail to vertical to oxer to vertical to cross rail to ground rail. As you can guess, there are many variations you can use. Remember to use a neck strap for stability during gymnastic exercises. You will quickly see how gymnastics helps your mule learn to negotiate obstacles of any kind and teaches him to become more agile and athletic. It also helps you perfect your jumping seat, and it will increase confidence in both of you. When cavaletti and gymnastics come easy for your mule, you're ready to teach him about coursework. Stadium jumps are a combination of verticals and oxers in a confined area. Jumping in a familiar area helps build his confidence and minimizes his stress. And for the rider, there's no better way to learn to ride the jumps, get in sync with your mule, and negotiate a course. It's best to start low and slow and use your ground poles as an aid. Ground poles can help him judge the distance and help him elevate before and after a jump. You can use them between 2 and 3 jumps in a row to keep him elevated. Always use ground poles on both sides of every jump in the beginning and before and after single jumps to help him negotiate them correctly. When building your jumps and laying out your course, your aim should be to design a course with plenty of distance between the jumps and multiple course options. You don't want him to keep doing the same course, and you don't want to have to keep checking your mule. You want him to trot and gallop naturally between jumps in a manner that's enjoyable and safe for both of you. High jumps and tight turns will come in much later in his training. Initially, start with single jumps before you build combinations, and include fences that can be jumped in both directions. A mule's stride is a little shorter than a horse's stride, about 10 to 11 feet, so a simple multiple of 10 or 11 feet between fences works out pretty well. Make sure the distance between placement of each fence is carefully measured to accommodate your mule's stride. Make sure your turns are wide and easy to negotiate, but make sure the approach to each jump is a straight line and your mule is jumping in the center of the jump. You can check your course by walking between the fences. Learn to count your paces and judge the equivalent to your mule's stride. It's good practice for a show where you should always walk the course before the competition. Courses are set at certain standards for horses, so when you pace the distances for your mule, you may have to add a stride between fences to accommodate your mule's shorter strides. If you have problems with this, consult your coach to make sure you're on the right track. Remember this important detail. In most cases, you're going to be taking your mule over jumps he's never seen before. It's up to you to guide him through the course safely and efficiently, and to do this, you must walk the course before the competition. In your familiar arena, you learned how to pace off the strides between the jumps. Now you must also determine the best path or line for your mule to take in a new arena or a cross-country course. Whatever the challenge, make your turns wide and easy to negotiate. Plan your turns to encourage him to make flying lead changes, but take the time to make a simple lead change if necessary. You want his balance perfect and his form correct for both his approach and takeoff. Calculate your approach with a straight line to and away from every jump, and always try to take your mule over the very center of the jump, straight and true every time. Remember, it's rarely the jump itself which frightens your mule and causes a refusal. You must take the time to stay organized and balanced, and your mule will have confidence in you. Search for portions of the course where you can ride in the two-point position to let your mule stretch and relax a little between the jumps, or make corrections in balance or stride. Mark in your mind where you'll drop back into the 3-point about 3 strides before the actual jump. Once you've walked the course and made all your mental preparations, you're ready for the competition in an arena or cross-country. In arena jumping, the fences are designed so that a variety of classes and courses can utilize the same jumps. That is, the route over fences will vary depending on your class. For instance, if you show in a 100-seat equitation class, you will follow one course over, say, 8 to 10 jumps. An amateur owner class might follow a course so you'd take those 8 or 10 jumps in a different order. If you rode in a jumper class, it would be another order. As a result, you must be prepared to memorize a different course for each class. As soon as the class is posted, study the course, memorize it, then visualize it in your mind. Do you see why it's important to walk the course to make sure that you have the course memorized? When your number is called, enter the arena at a trot. Make a volte, a circle, and pick up a canter on the proper lead for your first turn. Now, all your training and practice will come into play, and you're both off to a great round. Remember to ride in cadence with your mule, executing smooth turns and proper changes of lead. Take your jumps smoothly and at a steady pace, planning for perfection for anticipating a few flaws. When you finish your last jump, let your mule know how pleased you are with his performance, and the audience will share your pride.
Having problems? Need an accessible trainer? Whether you're just a weekend trail rider or showing, the principles of training are the same. You want a safe and reliable equine companion. Produced by Meredith Hodges, Training Mules and Donkeys, a logical approach to long ears, will help you build a good working relationship with your animal. Meredith reveals the secrets of successful maintenance and resistance-free training that can be implemented by anyone, resulting in a satisfying partnership between you and your equine. Meredith answers your training questions promptly via mail or phone. Her books are great general resources and her videos are detailed, outlining the day-to-day exercises needed to produce a versatile and dependable equine companion. Meredith's techniques work with all equines. Do you have children, grandchildren? Check out Jasper, the story of a mule. For more information, check out our website at www.lucky3ranch.com or call 1-800-816-7566.
Mules are working their way into the hearts of people everywhere. If you'd like to know more about these wonderful long-eared animals, you can contact us at 1-800-816-7566 or get on our website at lucky3ranch.com.
Dusty old quilt hung crooked on a couch in an old stone house by a lazy river. Songbirds singing to me like slow ride.